right out. Hey, what happened?
Hi there, welcome everybody. Hi, welcome to the program. My name is Dean. We have a full slate for you today. As always, brought to you by our friends at Easy Auto Financial. Easy Auto Financial is where you get a car and financing for free. The cars are free, the financing is. All turnkey, no obligation. Go to easyautofinancial.ca and sign up today. Also, our friends at Domination, people that love to help you do content and do it well. It's AI, saves you time and money. Go to dmntn.com today and check them out. And, of course, Ed's Fine Imports and his Gitch. Who doesn't want Gitch for Christmas? Promo code GITCH3 gets you a free pair. And you can look like a real philanthropist in the family this Christmas when you use the promo code edsfineimports.com. Clothing for men and boys. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce the crew. Please say hello to Chris Rook, our head of production at DeanBlundell.com, rookie. Ryan Lindley from the Sheeple Shepherd podcast. And, of course, Bonzi from Bonzi Live, tripping with Bonzi, Bonzarelli, old Bonzi. We got a couple of baldies and one guy who's hanging on for fucking dear life, and Chris Rook.
Did you plan this?
Yeah.
Did you plan
dude.
the screen setup here?
I was thinking about it today because, like, Lachlan's on the show, Ryan's on the show, Bonzi's on the show, Rookski's on the show, Jamesy, who's coming back next week. He's had a busy week. Jamesy's on the show. This is like the baldest fucking podcast network on the planet.
The Dean Blundell Baldcast.
There you go.
It's awesome. I don't have a problem with it at all. It's almost like I've surrounded myself with people with bad hair to accentuate my own hair.
Whoa.
Thanks for bringing it up.
Whoa.
Yeah, this is my friend, eh? This is my friend Dean Blundell.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys: do you have a problem with your with being bald?
No.
Lindley, you rock it. You look great. Same with you, Bonzi. Rookie, same thing. I mean, a confident man is a man who doesn't give two fucks where his hair is going. He just rocks it, and then just makes the actual fucking commitment to getting rid of it, like Bonzi did with his skullet a couple weeks ago here. But we'll start with you, Ryan. Hair club for men, not a thing for you. You're just gonna rock it natural.
No, it's funny because I'm tall, right?
Yeah.
So, and everybody in my life around me is shorter. So the only time that anybody ever really saw the top of my head was if I was sitting down. And this happened back when Kaylee was first born, my daughter. And my mother happened to walk past us at a barbecue while I was sitting at a picnic table, and she looked and she just kind of did one of these on the top of my head and went,
"Yeah,
oh dear." And I'm like, what the fuck, right? So back into the house, I was obviously at that point I'd been pushing it forward to try and get as much get as many miles out of what I had, and not the comb over, but it was more like just a front thing. And I went in the house and I shaved my head at this bar, like it was a huge family barbecue, and I just came back out and I didn't say a word, and nobody really kind of noticed until later. And that I never turned back. It cost me $65 every like 5 years to replace my clippers. So fuck you guys that pay $40 for haircuts.
Brilliant.
I don't care.
Yeah. Bonzi, do you care? You don't. You did for a while because you had the skullet, right? You were doing the two piece. That's what I call it. The hat with the skullet. It's the two piece.
I used to have a little nice circle going there, and I held on
the
to it for
unicorn
the longest
patch.
time, and it just got smaller and smaller and smaller, and I finally was just like, fuck, let's just get rid of her. So I shaved it
Bonzi
off.
is our unicorn, really.
It's true.
I do. I will admit that there was time back in the day where I thought maybe the hair club for men wouldn't be such a bad idea, or I never went with a wig. That wasn't my jam, but I was thinking about hair plugs or some sort of system to see if I could get her back. But
a system.
Now that I'm bald and shaved, it's gone and stuff. I'm really digging it now.
Oh, fuck! You look awesome. You look like $1 million. You really
do. You've got a good round head.
Yeah, you got a nice fucking dome on you. It's all good. The hair plugs are a terrible idea, by the way, because they're good for like 20 minutes. And in 4 years, when the rest of it starts to migrate down to your ass crack, you have like cornrows of somebody else's hair fucking surgically implanted in your head. And then when you choose to get rid of them, you legitimately look like a chia pet after a while.
And I heard they hurt like hell too to get. So that was another deterrent. So I was just like,
boy.
Just natural. This is the way whatever made me. So here I am.
Rookski? How you feeling, buddy? You're at the front end of it. Like you're and I got the fox ears going too. Like, listen, it's coming for me. I see hair all over the place. I'm not worried about it. How do you feel about it at 30?
Feeling good. None of my family is bald, so you know what? I feel like this is just what
That
it is.
doesn't
My
mean
dad's hair
shit.
looks exactly like mine, and he's almost 60.
Okay,
So I
so
feel
you
like
might
I'm in
rock
the
that
clear.
forever. That
Yeah,
just might
exactly.
be. Yeah.
The Tampa Bay
Like,
Buccaneers
and
and my hairline are running back. Both.
Dean, your old man's got a full head, doesn't he?
Fucking awesome hair.
Yeah,
Dude,
he's got
Jimmy
a good-
Blundell
he's got a-
has maybe the greatest rack of head you've ever seen in your life.
No way.
He's 70 years old. He has no gray hair. Doesn't dye it. Like, doesn't dye the hair. My brother, 50, same thing. Jimmy's 70, same thing. My mom, jet white like me, like totally Arctic blonde. But she was like that when she was 30. Yeah, but it's like part of me, because I got the white, right? You guys are the grayish Arctic blondie, whitey, whatever the fuck this is. But there's like this attraction to shaving it all off because of the lack of maintenance. Like, to me, that's the fucking, that's where you guys are going to win.
Beautiful.
Is you never have to go for a haircut. You just run the Bic every couple of days through the fucking skull. You get the dome nice and clean, and then you walk out of the shower. You've had a haircut. You can give yourself a haircut in the shower. That is attractive to me as a lazy person.
Yeah.
Like, it's super attractive to me. Like, I brush my teeth in the shower. Sometimes I'll take a dump in the shower. No, I'm kidding about that.
Whoa.
No, I would never do that. I would never do that. I pee in the shower. I brush my teeth in the shower. I do everything in the shower. So, like, the bald thing looks attractive to me.
Yeah. No, I
whack off in the shower too. Who doesn't? It's
I cry in
the
the
best place
shower.
to do it. You cry in the shower after you whack off?
You can't see your tears.
Yeah, that's true.
I haven't whacked in a shower in forever. It's not my jam at all.
You hold it over the toilet when you give it a go?
Couch.
Yeah, he does.
Wherever.
Couch over
Fuck.
the dog, whatever.
Yeah. Couch, whatever. Anyway, you got lots of time to do it. You're coming back. Welcome to the program. Let's get to it, because Bonzi is literally in Los Angeles, and we had a 12-alarm blaze here at deanblundell.com yesterday, because I'm sitting down yesterday. I'm getting ready to eat. I made a steak, by the way. Made a really nice sous vide steak, thanks to Ryan's sous vide machine. It was delicious. And I'm sitting down, and all of a sudden I get this note from Locke, and he's like, because Locke's gone for a couple of weeks, he's like, you got to help Bonzi out. He's on his way to Edmonton. And I'm like, what do you mean help him out? He's like, he's fucking stuck. They won't let him get on the flight. And I go, why won't they let him get on the flight? And he's like, something to do with his service dog. So I blast WestJet a tweet, say, hey, fuck, I sure hope you didn't treat one of our employees poorly and not let him get on a flight. Because Bonzarelli was booked, bought, paid for, checked in. And at the last second, WestJet looks at this guy, WestJet, this Canadian airline extraordinaire, this group of people who are changing the way we do business. You know what they said to poor Bonzi? He's standing there with his fucking service dog all checked through, and they're like, we've decided you can't get on anymore because that's not a service dog. That's just an emotional support dog. Am I in the neighborhood, Bonzi? Is that kind of what happened yesterday? Because you're still in LA. Worst case scenario is you're staying with your kid for a couple of days. It's no big deal. You're enjoying some time. But still, it was a fucking 12-alarm blaze. I'm on FaceTiming you. We got the WestJet person on last night. It was like we were your parents for a while. I kind of dug it.
That's exactly what I said to Ashley about the one message that you sent. You better be telling me the truth, Bonzi.
Yeah.
I was fucking dying. I said, look, Dad, Dean's here.
Yeah.
So,
well, because I went out on a limb and I was like, hey, fuck, I'm gonna throw the full force of the weight of what we do behind this to get you home, because it was important to me, because I love you. I think you're a great guy and you work with us. But what happened? Like, take us through the short strokes. You get to the airport, LAX, getting excited to come to Edmonton yesterday. What happened?
Yeah, so I go up to the Delta because I booked this on Expedia through Delta. Got a great rate. I was like, all right, everything's tickety-boo. I get to the Delta check-in. They're like, oh, sir, this is actually, it's through Delta, but through WestJet. So I was like, okay. So they're like, you have to go and check in with WestJet. And I go over to the WestJet counter, which, it's a bit of a hike. And so they take one look at me and they're like, oh, you have a service dog? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, who'd you book through? I said, Delta. You got to go back to Delta. They have to check in your service animal. Then we can check you in. So I go back to Delta. They're like, no, that's not how it works. I'm like, well, can you get your supervisor to go over there? Because I'm not going back and forth anymore. I'm staying right here until this is solved. So the lady was nice. She went over to WestJet. She sorted it out. She's like, okay, we're going to check him in with his service dog. Then he can go over there and it's all good. So Delta was kind enough to do that for me. They're like, you're good to go. So I go all the way back over to WestJet. I go to the check-in counter, and they printed my ticket. She was about to have a service dog with you. I said, yeah, we just went all through this. You guys went back and forth. And she goes, oh, hold on a second. She gets on the phone. 10 minutes later, I'm not welcome on the plane. Not a service animal because you said he comforts you. And so because you booked through Delta, we don't allow dogs booked from another airline to come on our airline. I'm like, but you sent me over there to check in.
Wow.
Makes no sense.
Service dog guy.
What do you mean?
Sitting here
What do you
like
mean?
I'm escalating.
Yeah. So sorry. What do you mean? So just to recap, they tell you that you can bring your dog on the flight with you, which you are legitimately booked on, paid for, and checked into, correct? But you have to go back to the Delta counter because you booked it through Delta, and they need to check that first. So the Delta lady's like, no, that's not how this fucking works. Tell the idiot at the WestJet counter that they got to check it through. It's their flight. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay, so then
nobody
Delta
wanted to take responsibility for checking in the service dog through their airline.
Okay, so you went and did that, and the Delta person literally came with you over to the WestJet counter and was like, okay, like we've checked him through. Here's his stuff. He's good to go. Help him out. And they're like, okay, great. And then they just turned around and said, you know what? We're just not letting you on the flight.
Yeah,
because
she was on the phone, and then she said, oh, I have to ask you a couple questions. I said, go ahead. And she goes, what service is he trained to do? And I said, he's trained to keep me safe and comfort in my times of when I have anxiety attacks or panic attacks. Yeah. And they're like, oh, that's not a service animal, sir. That's an emotional support animal. I said, I know the difference. My paperwork and all his documentation is right there to say that he's a trained service animal. And they wouldn't even look at it. They'd already made up their mind that he wasn't coming on that flight. And they
okay. So what's the difference between trained emotional service animal and trained service dog? Like, help me understand the difference, because to me, there's
a lot
none.
of people
like if you've got a physical disability and you've got a service dog, that's a disability. If you have a mental disability, which you do, PTSD, extreme anxiety, that's why you have an emotional support animal. It's the same thing. It's in the same spot. It's in the same arena, which is like that dog is there to help you through the day because you sometimes will suffer from extreme anxiety and post-traumatic stress. Correct?
Right. Correct.
Okay. So what's the difference?
Yep. Emotional
do you
support
have paperwork?
is one that can be anything from a snake to a parrot to anything. And people were starting to take advantage of it. So about maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, the airlines changed the rules where you are no longer allowed to bring emotional support animals on a plane. It has to be shipped below or some other form of getting your animal to wherever you want to fly with it, unless it's a trained service animal. So we got Tucker some paperwork. He went to some training. I won't say the name of the company that did it, but he spent some time there and got trained, and we have the proper documentation for that said service.
Yeah. And so that documentation wasn't good enough because you booked it through somebody else, and it's not.
That was their next excuse.
Bullshit.
Oh, well, it's because you booked it through Delta, a third party. And I said, but yeah, you guys sent me over there though and told me to just check the dog in because you didn't want to do it, and then I'd be fine. Dude, I was there 3 hours early for this flight and still missed it because they said, oh, sir, the gate's locked now. You can't get through. We're not letting you on this plane.
Well, first of all, you missed the flight because they just didn't have WestJet. Can't see to the humanity of helping someone who's suffering from PTSD and anxiety, and on top of it, probably fed into the PTSD and anxiety you have by leaving you fucking stranded.
Tucker was up against my leg, like snuggled right in. That's what he does. He knows. He calms me the hell down, and when I pet him, that really helps calm me down as well. And they were having none of it. And it's fine. I've flown this year. I just flew here from Phoenix to LA. No problems whatsoever. Filled out the proper paperwork. The people at the check-in desk love Tucker. And then I get to LAX, and WestJet just was beyond rude. And when I tried to reason with them, and I'm like, you're legit not letting me on this flight for what reason? Because it's, red tape between two airlines, and you're calling my dog an emotional support animal when I legit have paperwork in front of me to prove otherwise. He's got identification cards. He's got a certificate. He's got paperwork. Mm-hmm. They were having none of it. None of it. Like, sorry, sir. And then they wouldn't help me. So I had to go back to the Delta desk. had to wait for the supervisor that was dealing with me. She came over. Luckily, she was nice enough to try and find me another flight that evening. It wasn't possible. And then they booked me for a flight on Saturday, which was leaving at 5. But then that would have been a little detrimental because my COVID test would have ran out, would have had to get a whole new COVID test. It's putting my son out for another, 3 days. He's got a life to live here. Doesn't he? Fucking dad hanging around. We had a nice visit, and I needed to get to Edmonton, and basically WestJet 100% failed me.
Yeah, fuck did they ever. I mean, it's like,
No kidding.
if you can in that moment see the reason to do the fucking human thing, right? Like just the fucking human thing. Like you've got a guy who's completely booked. You told him to go do something to make sure his dog gets on the flight. He legitimately goes and does it. And even throughout all that, they tell you to go fuck your hat and leave you stranded in a fucking foreign country with a support dog that's helping you try to get through the thing that they actually fucking caused, which was another massive flare-up of your anxiety and PTSD. I was on the phone with you last night, and you handled yourself incredibly well. Let me just add that. So you get home. I had a couple conversations with some people at WestJet, a lovely lady named Mary, who was fucking zero help at all. You know what she said to me in a DM? It was great. She goes, we're waiting for him to call us. No big deal. They don't care. They don't give two fucks. WestJet does not give a fuck. Sorry, Ryan, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, coming from the company that is like the king of virtue signaling about how good they are.
All right.
You figure they would take an opportunity like this, especially being out in the public as it was last night on Twitter, to do the right thing, to go above and beyond and get this fixed. Because of like Bonzi said, all it was a red tape problem. It was not an actual procedural or policy problem. It was a paperwork thing.
Yep.
And the fact that they failed on that, I'm sorry, this isn't over.
Yeah.
I don't. I don't get it.
They finally they did call me this morning, and I was waiting for the phone call. They did call pretty early, and we started to get this sorted out. And again, she felt pretty bad. The lady I was talking to, but then it came down to, again, I told her how, you guys called my dog an emotional support animal, which he's not. You refuse to look at the paperwork to prove otherwise. And can you please hold on for a second? And then she comes back and she goes, I have to ask you some questions. Same as at the airport yesterday. Same as on Twitter last night with Mary, who I had the unpleasure of talking to as well. And
it's displeasure, by the way. It's displeasure.
Sorry.
No, it's unpleasure.
No, it's not.
And they said, what service does he perform? Now, because I used the word comfort, and it was a red flag. They're like, oh yeah, sorry, he's an emotional support animal. And I'm like, but he's not. You guys aren't paying attention. Just because I say he's comfort, he performs other services to calm my ass down. So I sent them another message after we got off the phone this morning, because she was no help. She's like, there's nothing we can do for you. He'll have to fly in a kennel. I'm like, no, he won't actually. So
your emotional support dog is going to fly underneath the fucking plane with all the fucking luggage. Yeah, that's a good idea. Defeating the purpose of an emotional support dog. Yeah,
fucking kill him. So
yeah, exactly. Did you tell them that the dog was uncomfortable today when you rebooked? Did you tell them the dog makes you uncomfortable?
Yeah.
So WestJet, they are the service is brutal. From yesterday at LAX to the customer service on the phone through Twitter, who they're supposed to be there to do damage control. They put me in contact with the customer service this morning. The call, they were no help, and they still didn't want to take the blame.
What'd you do?
So I got on the phone with
Air Canada?
Air Canada was, I looked and they had some flights, not direct, sadly, to Edmonton, but we got a small layover. So I got on the phone with them right away before I booked anything. Called Air Canada, spoke to this wonderful dude named Mike. We spent 2 hours and 15 minutes together on the phone, but he walked me through everything. He made sure we got the proper answers from everybody. He finally forwarded me to the medical desk, which I just sent forms that we filled out together and emailed before I got off the phone. And then within 20 minutes after that, Air Canada has pre-approved Tucker and I for flying tomorrow morning at 7:45.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Way to go, Air Canada.
Not all
there
heroes
you
wear
go.
capes. Air Canada, heroes.
Air Canada,
Fantastic.
heroes.
Yeah.
I was thinking about it because after your story last night, we spent a little time on the phone and we were DMing back and forth, and I was fortunate enough to get get the nod, get the call, the bullpen, lefty from the bullpen to come in and help out a little bit. And what I was thinking last night as I was kind of, talking with the people at WestJet, talking to you, and then I had some time to reflect on it this morning during my morning reflection, Bonzi. During my morning reflection.
That's when he takes it
I
dumb.
was taking
Don't
a
let
dump.
him fool you.
Basically, yeah, totally. I was taking a big.
Glad you were thinking of me at that time.
Yeah. I always think of you when I'm in the bathroom. But anyway, I was thinking about you today, and I thought to myself, these airlines that got massive government bailouts because they couldn't fly for a couple of years in the pandemic, you would think it would be fucking super valuable to each one of them to go above and beyond for paying customers. Like to have paying customers go, you know what, I want to fly with you because you treat me like a human being. You allowed my emotional support dog to get on a flight with me on my way home during a pandemic in the worst time in human history. I'm going to keep doing business with you again. And you know what I thought to myself as I was thinking about that? Fuck WestJet too. Fuck them. If there's an opportunity to spend more money, because I have it, to spend more money flying with another airline instead of WestJet, just because of how they treated you, a man with severe emotional disabilities, on a flight where you were checked in. You were checked in. They told you to take care of your dog. You went and took care of your dog. You came back with the paperwork. And they're like, you know what? We just don't like you. We don't like this idea.
She literally was about to hand me my ticket like this.
Yes.
And then it was like,
Yeah,
nope.
not taking
you got a dog? Nah, here's that ticket.
Do you know
back.
how
We'll take
fucked that is? Do you know how fucking bizarre that is? After a pandemic, like the restaurants around here are offering free meals to people to come in and try their meals because, let's get some business back in here. They're doing like tasting samples at the corner. They're doing all kinds of lovely things, these businesses. And WestJet's probably got so much money that they don't give two fucks about you or your dog or human beings that use their service. So what they do is they tell you to go pound salt, stay in LA. We don't give two fucks because we don't care about human beings. That's what I get out of your story, that they don't care about the people getting on or off their flights at all.
Nope.
Like they don't give a fuck. Right?
I'm picturing somebody that didn't have the safety net that Bonzi had with his son being in LA,
right?
Somebody with anxiety with their dog being stranded in an airport in LA. I couldn't imagine. It's baffling.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Ty was a great help. He was on the phone. He was trying to get see if there was other flights that he could help me get out with.
But
he's
get
like,
you the fuck out of his house, dude. He was trying to get you to leave.
Exactly.
I'll do anything I can to get you out of my house.
Fuck.
Yeah, dude, I gotta lay some pipe, Dad. You gotta get the fuck out. That's what he was thinking.
I am glad though that we have this platform to quote unquote put this on blast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it was just somebody else, this story wouldn't be heard. So I'm happy that we do have this reach that we can put it on Twitter, write a blog, do whatever, do this show to let people know this happened.
Yeah, and it happened to a dude that was in distress, right? Like you'd be able to notice if I saw a guy, if I'm working at WestJet and I saw a dude come up to me with a dog and all of his stuff and he
3 hours back and forth.
3 hours back. I would be like, you know what? I'm going to go. You come here. If I work for I'd say, you come here. We're going to do what's best for you because we're interested in the greater good as a company. That's what I would have said. But clearly they haven't said it. And you're right. I mean, you've got recourse and some things kind of started to move because you've got a bit of a platform and you got friends that have some influence in certain areas, right? But like if it's anybody else, to Ryan's point, they're fucked. Like totally 100% fucked. So I'm glad to see you here. And you're in LA, which is great because what you can do is enjoy this brand new fucking series on Showtime. Has anybody seen this? Fuck off already. This is maybe one of the great. Watch this. This is you guys brought it up to us, and it was funny because I knew you were in LA. I don't know how far you are away from the old Forum. I think they tore it down. No big deal. But if you were a fan of the '80s Lakers, the Lake Show, Adam McKay is putting together a biopic series on the Lakers that premieres on HBO, and watch the fucking trailer. We've got some news for it after, but watch this.
There's two things in this world that make me believe in God. It's sex and basketball. You know?
I'm sleeping.
Her loss. I'm about to buy a team. I want to build something special, a real dynasty. But I need a partner.
First pick, the 1979 NBA draft. The Los Angeles Lakers select Irvin Magic Johnson.
With me, it's gonna be exciting.
I wanna take you higher, but you wanna get higher. Ooh, yeah, but you wanna get higher. Come on, Dad, higher. Light your fire, a little bit higher. I want higher, a little bit higher. I want higher, someone light your higher.
Magic motherfucking Johnson.
Style. Pizzazz. I don't know why basketball can't feel like that.
To me, Dr. Bus,
It's showtime!
they do.
God damn.
Not that I need another streaming service, but who isn't fucking jacked for a series about the Showtime Lakers? Seriously.
Yeah, it looks wicked.
Seriously. Do you remember that time? Like, I'm old enough to remember the Showtime Lakers. You don't, because you're what? You're 30, 31 rookie?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're young. Yeah,
I'm
I know.
all
Rub it in.
memories.
Rub it in. You're
Yeah,
young.
right.
I got there. Relax.
We're old.
I know where you're at. Yeah, I know. But like the Showtime Lakers were like my introduction to basketball, like NBA basketball, because up until that point, the NBA was really a middling league, right? Like it was, teams were still moving all over the place. The Lakers had just kind of in the last several years arrived in LA. No one really gave a shit about them. And it was fascinating because the stories that came with the 80s Lakers all led up to the fucking most important moment in the Lakers history, which is the fact that Magic Johnson got AIDS. Right. Like it was. And that's what this whole fucking thing is about. And I remember being in the 11th grade when Magic got AIDS and it was on the front page of the newspaper. And keep in mind, I was like a 17-year-old ignoramus who had no idea about AIDS and how AIDS worked. It was the only thing that we knew back then was like AIDS is a gay person's disease. That's what we were told, right? Specifically at the dumb fucking church that I went to. So I remember looking at the newspaper and I'm like, oh my God, Magic's gay? Like that was literally my thought in my head because I was such an ignorant little prick.
Got Canadian AIDS?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden the stories to the Canadian AIDS, the stories started to come out about the Showtime Lakers and how many chicks they would have sex with in the parties and all the Playboy chicks that Mr. Bus, or as you call him, Dr. Bus, would bring in, and the fact that Jerry Bus's daughter, Jeannie Bus, was also a bit of a sex hound and posed for Playboy. Like it was the stories that came out after we knew that Magic got AIDS, which I'm sure this was fucking leading up to in some kind of crescendo, were unfucking believable. Do you guys remember those stories?
Everything. It was like you needed two channels for basketball.
Mm-hmm.
One was the Entertainment Tonight style news, and then one was the actual news of the fucking game. And nobody really gave a shit about the game.
Yeah, no, nobody did.
It's so true.
Nobody.
The guy playing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, apparently he's like 6'11" too. Some guy named Solomon Hughes. He's a basketball star out of UC Berkeley.
Mm-hmm.
They actually got him to act. There's a ton of new actors. It looks really good. Like I'm excited, and I don't even give a shit about basketball anymore. But I'm so digging this.
No, but there's backstory to this, right, Chris? Like there's some fucking crazy backstory because Adam McKay and Will Ferrell were like movie making mogul buddies for a long fucking time. I mean, the list of Will Ferrell hits are all directly associated with Adam McKay. Now, what's the story behind this one? That they were supposed to do it, and then at the last second, Adam McKay cast John C. Reilly instead of Will Ferrell for the role of Jerry Buss. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically. So their relationship was kind of hurting for a while because Adam wanted to shift more of the production responsibility to Will, and Will didn't want that. He's like, he would just announce movies, and I'd have to see it on a billboard on Sunset that, I guess that's part of our production company now. So the relationship was strained for a while. But yeah, Will was supposed to play Jerry Buss. And then Adam decided to cast John C. Reilly, and which, you know what, at the end of the day, people can say it's a snaky move, but that's showbiz at this point. Like, it's not really a snaky move. But I think Will's problem was the way Adam did it is he just cast him and didn't tell him. And then John called him and basically said, I'm cast as the role you were supposed to play. And then Will was like, relationship over. And they talked on the phone. He's like, have a nice life. And they haven't spoken since.
That's fucking crazy, eh?
That
Will
is
Ferrell's
crazy.
got a little ego to him. I didn't know that. Will Ferrell's got a little.
I
ego.
love both of them.
He got screwed over by his buddy though, pretty good.
Yeah, if you're with,
he
you're
wanted
working with that long, at least have the respect to my face that I'm not going to be playing the role. But that's Hollywood. That's showbiz. At the end of the day, it's what can you do?
Well, dude, and I got to tell you, because I was looking at watching the trailer and I was reading about it, and John C. Reilly looks like Jerry Buss in the movie. Will Ferrell would look like Will Ferrell doing Jerry Buss in a movie, right? And I don't know if you guys have seen The Shrink Next Door, the one with Paul Rudd, the show on, I think it's on Apple. It's with Paul Rudd and Will Ferrell. And it's about a dude that had his life stolen by like a shrink who told him, you need me, give me all your stuff, I'll help you. He's like, okay, here. Anyway, I watched it and I was like 2 episodes in, and at the end of the second episode, I was like, where's the fucking funny?
You said it sucked, right?
It sucked ass.
Yeah.
It was like one of the worst
funny,
things.
right?
Yeah, it was like going on a blind date with somebody and them saying, oh, she's hot, you're going to love it. And you show up and she's not hot and she doesn't shut the fuck up and she smells like beef vegetable soup. That was the feeling that I had after watching 2 episodes.
Are we speaking from experience with all that, Dean?
I was just say, can we hear the real story behind that fucking analogy, please? Because we know there is one.
No.
Dean has never gone out with somebody who smells like beef.
Saturday.
No, I got a real smell thing.
I love Will Ferrell, but I'm sorry, John C. Reilly can act circles around him.
Oh yeah, Will Ferrell's a fucking terrible actor. He is so funny, and I was watching the Shrink Next Door again. Terrible, just awful. Don't watch it. But I was watching the Shrink Next Door, and I'm like, don't go outside your lane. Like, why do you like? It's like Bill Murray. Remember when Bill Murray did Razor's Edge? If you're old enough to know who Bill Murray is, and you're like, you fucking, why would you do that? I'm not interested in watching you be serious for 5 minutes. Nonetheless, fucking 2 hours. And so the same thing with this. Like, I'm gonna watch this because it's going to be fucking incredible, right? Like, it's not a biopic, but I am going to sit there and go, when's John C. Reilly going to be funny? Is he going to do something weird? Like, at some point, is he going to do something weird? And I also can't help but notice the similarities between what happened in real life and what happened on Talladega Nights, by the way. Just wanted to point that out.
Shake and bake.
Shake and bake, baby.
Where he stole Will Ferrell's whole life.
Nice one, Chris.
I think this character's based is going to be, he's so over the top that it's going to be like situationally and ironically funny. So he can pull that, and that'll soothe that thirst of yours to see him being funny, I think.
Oh yeah, I think so. I'd love to see it. I mean, I want to see this, and I'm excited to see it because, there's going to be a lot of fornication and allusions to fornication, and it'll give you the backstory, because I was reading about it, and Adam K was like, listen, we needed to get this right because it's a big fucking story, and to tell the story, you got to be accurate, and there's a lot of sex in this. There's a lot of breasts. There's a lot of sex. There's a lot of nudity. I believe there's even penis in this. So there's something for everybody. Yeah, exactly. I'm going to watch it.
I think just to add just a little bit of salt to the wound, Will Ferrell's a massive Lakers fan. Huge.
Yeah, he is. He's at like every game courtside. You see him.
That's just a little bit more salt.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Just a little bit.
Right.
Well, who says no to? He's got clout, right? He's had funny movies. Nobody says no to Will, and he this one, and it hurts him. He's butthurt for sure.
I think I don't know. I think we're doing a lot of projecting here. I don't think it's as devious as we're making it out to be. Like, Will Ferrell's just like dropping, fuck this guy, drop everything. I think he's got a legitimate beef if he was literally not consulted by somebody that he's done so much work with, and there was a plan, like, already sort of, even though it was unofficial. It does warrant a face-to-face.
Adam McKay did him a fucking favor, if you ask me.
100%.
Everything Will Ferrell in that where he's being serious sucks ass. Like, I fucking can't stand it. Anything, and I love Will Ferrell, I really do, but I love him when he's himself. Like, I don't love him when he's trying to be somebody else. And I cannot tell you again. I don't know if I've mentioned it. The Shrink Next Door. Never fucking watch it for that very reason.
You didn't say.
Garbage episode of anything you'll ever see.
Also, with movies, there's a higher upper echelon of investors and executive producers, which I'm sure he had to give an answer to right away on who's going to play their lead. So maybe he didn't have time to consult Will. It had to be like, who's our lead actor? Well, it's John C. Reilly. Okay, book it. And then it was done. Like
HBO money is a lot of money. You're right.
Exactly. And they want to know who the lead is.
Yeah. You know who's not going to be in this Lakers show? Juicy Smoulier. Juicy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Juicy.
See you, buddy. Good to see you.
Yeah.
There's quick look, everybody. Have you been watching or paying attention to the Juicy Smoulier trial? Juicy was found guilty on 5 counts of basically being a lying douchebag. If you remember back during the BLM protests, Juicy said that, oh yeah, I got attacked by some white guys, and they threw.
I think he did say they were black.
He said he got attacked by 2 honkies. No, he said he got attacked by 2 white guys. And this was in Chicago. Do you remember this story, Bonzi? Do you remember the Juicy Smollett story?
It's starting to come back to me now, yeah.
Yeah, I cannot call him Jussie Smollett anymore because of the Chappelle Sticks and Stones special. If you've seen it, it is so fucking good because he talked about the French actor Juicy Smoulier. Now he's just Juicy Smoulier to me. But Juicy was found guilty on 5 out of 6 counts of basically lying about fucking everything that happened the other day. Here are the charges. We're going to get some information here from Ryan in a second. But the charges are telling a police officer he was a victim of a hate crime, guilty of lying about that. Telling an officer he was a battery victim when he wasn't, guilty. Telling detectives he was a hate crime victim, guilty. Telling detective he was a battery victim, guilty. Detectives he was again a battery, guilty. The only one he wasn't found out was telling a third detective about something that didn't happen.
No, it was the same second detective, and that's the whole point. This was a district attorney that was out to prove a fucking point, and he did it very well, or she, I don't even know, but all of those could have been wrapped into one disorderly conduct charge, but they did it individually because he said the story to different police officers, and they used the statements and made individual charges, which they can do.
Yeah.
And the only one that they found him not guilty on was literally the only one that he was technically a victim of, and that was aggravated battery, because he did actually get hit.
Yeah.
So they couldn't. I think they just kind of threw that one out with the bathwater. But yeah, he's looking at 3 years in prison and up to $25,000 in fines at this point. But
yeah,
it's who knows what they're going to give him. And they're also investigating him now to see if he actually perjured himself on the stand. This I'm telling you, this prosecutor, whoever it is out for blood from this dude, because yeah, he's not having it. And
well, my understanding is that well, first of all, he lied his dick off during the whole trial that he was just found guilty of, and that's what they're trying to assert, is whether or not, hey, did he commit perjury? Did he fucking lie? Because there are hundreds of text messages with the 2 guys that he got to commit the crime, so he was in cahoots with these 2 cats.
See, and now let's look at this really close. Leave this up for a sec.
Yeah, sure.
Let's look at Juicy's face and the injuries that he sustained in this brutal attack.
Juicy's face.
And let's look at the small white dudes beside him that attacked him. Now, I'm not a forensic pathologist.
No.
At all. But I don't think that the injuries match.
You don't think Juicy comes out of a fight with those 2 gigantic, jacked dudes from Nigeria with just a scratch on his face?
I don't. But you know what those 2 jacked Nigerian dudes really long got? Nails. And this is, if I could have a second to talk to celebrities in general that want to pull fast ones and bullshit. If you've learned nothing from Jerry Springer, it's don't pay people with a fucking check. When you're paying them to beat you up. That's a $3,500 check that it's Jussie Smollett. Who's that? No, that's the wrong check. No, it's Jussie Smollett. You got to get Juicy Smoulier check. But he paid him in a fucking check. Who still has paper fucking checks is my question.
Juicy Smoulier.
And who pays?
Juicy.
I can't even. This is so good. Like
Who
this
pays,
is this.
Who pays the
it?
hitman of their own hit in a fucking paper check?
You learn. So it's in all the movies. You never have a paper trail. What the fuck are you thinking?
Yeah, no, he paid him with a check.
Juicy wasn't.
Hi,
It was, you know
guys.
what? I bet you
Hi,
it was so
guys.
he could
Listen,
cancel it.
Juicy here. Just wondering if you guys are free Saturday night around 2 a.m. I'm gonna walk outside. I would like you
I'll
to
be at the
hang a noose around my neck, rough me up a bit, throw some bleach on me, and you got to run around in a MAGA hat. I'll give you $3,500. And they're like, no problem, we're in. You're gonna have to take a check though. Is that okay?
Yeah, do you take a check?
We're gonna have to clear it.
Do you
first.
take checks? Fucking unbelievable, isn't
Like
it?
he's
never going to fucking work
though.
again. Dude will never,
Oh my
ever
God,
work
no.
again. I was
Nobody
reading
will
some
touch
PR
him.
stuff. No, because he's just such a piece of shit. Like, he just fucking made up this whole thing in the middle of a fucking heated BLM movement all across the world. And he's like, they got me too. And you're like, no, they didn't. And when it came out, you were like, there's no way that that's fucking true the second it happened. The best part of this whole thing is this video that Ryan sent me today.
Oh,
this is fucking awesome.
Walt Disney.
What are we watching here, Ryan? If you could describe it, that would be great.
So this is the body cam footage of when the first responding officers came to the complaint, and the person they meet in the lobby is a cat by the name of Frank Gatson. And Frank Gatson is Juicy Smollier's creative director, but he's also his uncle apparently. And this guy's got quite the resume. Like, this guy's not just like, hey, I'm Juicy's uncle, and now this is my new job. This guy's like worked with Rihanna and like I sent you
Beyonce.
Yeah. This guy's got some cred. And the acting you're about to see in this police body cam footage is, you know what? Put him in this new Lakers show as well, because he's great.
It's fucking unbelievable. Watch this.
Like the star works on the show Empire, so I think he doesn't want that to be a big deal. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. So, but to me, it's kind of messed up. And the thing that bothers me the most, it makes me emotional. Is they put a makeshift what do you call the thing? A noose around his neck. Sorry, and that's what bothered me. The cut thing doesn't bother me at all. If that makes any sense.
Did you see this?
No, I didn't. He just came up to the apartment. He walked into, I guess he came in through the front door. I'm sitting there waiting.
Do you guys live together? Or?
No. I'm just his creative director. I'm just visiting. He lives alone. But I just feel like he should report this. That's all. That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. This is stupid.
Are my lies going over well?
Now we're in Juicy's house, which looks like my house.
Inside the apartment?
And there's
Yeah,
Juicy.
it does.
Do you see Juicy, guys? You see Juicy there? You see Juicy? You see that? You see the picture of Juicy Smollett? I can't stop saying it. You see that picture of him, Bonzi? You see Juicy there in that sharp Christmas sweater? You see that?
Yeah.
Do you see what he's got around his neck?
He still has the noose.
Still has
the noose.
Wow, wouldn't you take that off right
bleaching
away
noose.
because it's disrespectful?
Yeah, and no,
Wow.
he wanted the police to. He was preserving evidence, Bonzi. That's what he told them.
Here's
Preserving evidence.
Silly me.
It's really. Look at him.
He's got the noose. There's Juicy.
I just
Look
wanted
at
y'all to
Juicy.
see it.
Takes the noose off.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's a terrible noose.
If you want, if it's in his house,
They're filming you.
you're being audio and read.
Like audio. I guess when they didn't
Look at
know
that.
I walk into.
This guy,
It's
this
hard to
uncle,
believe.
This
It's hard to
uncle,
believe.
like he's.
Yeah,
It's-
it really is.
You know when you like somebody's a really bad, like everybody knows a bad liar.
Yeah.
That guy's a horrible fucking liar.
Gatson,
Like he's just
Uncle
terrible
Gatson.
at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe that I can now because we all know it's a joke, right? Like I totally get it. I know what he was doing. And what they said was Chicago police is that we wasted like $250,000 looking for the real killers and donating time to this. And then to try to uncover what you originally said that happened, which never happened. And then to get to the bottom of that, it's another 250 grand. And people are shooting each other all over the streets of Chicago. And we don't have resources to send to those things because you invented a fake attack, a fake racially motivated attack during one of the most heated times in American history. And oh, by the way, on his way back from the hospital, he shows up and kept the noose on just as like a little remind me of that wonderful time. Like, you know how you go somewhere and like, let's say you go and see a professional soccer game in Europe and you come back with the scarf.
Scarf.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's exactly what he's doing. Like nobody in their fucking right mind, if they got attacked by a couple of guys and they had a noose put around his neck, nobody would go, you know what? I'm going to hang on to this thing. I'm going to wear it home. I'm going to wear it home so people can see it. You'd be fucking in ER. You'd be fucking trying to get it off your neck. You'd be trying to go to get the cops to help you. And you certainly wouldn't be this calm. And the other thing is, you certainly wouldn't still be wearing that sharp Christmas sweater.
Yeah, and you also, I don't think, would have your creative director uncle in the lobby.
No.
Introducing you as the star. He's a star, from Empire. He's a star, but he doesn't want to make a big deal out of that.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Meanwhile,
every
he
time
created
he said
the big deal. Like he created the whole thing and it was all bullshit. Yeah.
Every single thing he said, he followed up with. Does that make it? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Does that make sense?
Needed attention.
What he was doing was he was clout chasing. He was clout chasing on every social issue there was. He was gay, he was black, and Me Too, and every movement was going without him because he had nothing to complain about.
I think what they said too is that he was like not getting paid as much as a couple of different people on Empire, and he was having like a problem with the people on Empire about how much he was getting paid. So this was part of the deal. Like that, how fucking and Bonzi, you bring up a great point. Like how badly does a superstar, because Empire's a big show. He was a big singing sensation at the time. Loved to dance. Little soft shoe as well in there, I believe, like the little soft shoe. And was highly employable. Like he had everything going for him. Super fucking talented. And he's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to blow it all up today. Like just fucking craziness. Or I want people to feel sorry for me, even though I've got it all already. Those are truly fucked people. Like this guy is super, super fucked.
It's not pathological. It's well, maybe it is pathological. It could be.
Is it a disease? Like, is there something? He's not firing on all circuits, or is this just something that he's just one of them?
Like, who in their fucking right minds invents a racially motivated homophobic attack that's totally fucking
racial
made up
homophobic,
and then pays guys for it with a check?
Yeah,
comes out with a strat.
Fucking, who does that? Can you put the check up again, really quick?
Oh fuck yeah, it's so good.
Who is it made out to?
So what does the reason say? Somebody asked.
I don't know. It's just like a food program or something like that. It's hard to see.
Right.
That's right.
It was a food donation program, something.
Because these guys were like his workout buddies or something like that. But they also helped him get drugs too. Like they love to help him get drugs and get dudes. Like this one here. One Juicy Smollier's like, can you get me 4 Molly pills? Yeah. And the guy's like, I sure can. Like that stuff. And there's another text exchange with him where they were talking about getting Juicy a massage guy. And he asked him, like, how was the massage guy got you? He goes, great. He's over here S-ing my D right now. Like, these guys knew each other and knew each other for a long time, helped each other. So Juicy's defense, which was a total lie, was him going, oh, they were just helping me with my workouts. That's why I paid him the money and stuff like this.
Like concierge is like a person, like the concierge, full service concierge. Who get you a massage, get you Molly, and get you the shit kicked out of you.
I want friends like that too. Guys who do anything I tell them to for $3,500.
That's my D. Yeah.
Wow.
Holy shit, there's
another bald guy. Ladies and gentlemen, first
welcome, Brad.
Responder, upload delay, joins us. Brad Hopper 14 on Twitter. Bud?
Welcome.
How are you?
Good to see everyone.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you, bud.
Lindley, I still owe you that check.
Yeah,
don't let me forget.
Okay.
That was a great pod this week, but I sent it in the mail.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll believe that when I see it.
That's
Dude,
right. Yeah.
Is it the check that you're writing Ryan to put a hit out on you? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
No, it was for me to it was for me to fake a pulmonary embolism to get him a good show.
We had a really good show. Yeah.
Yeah, you did. You had Ashley on your show too on Offload Delay. How's it going? How's the podcast?
It's going well. It's keeping me busy. We had some technical issues, but ultimately Rook and Ryan got me through it here. So simply one little switch in the wrong spot, and suddenly shit goes south. But we're good now.
You sound like $1 million.
We're rolling. Yeah, I got that filter on, the Lindley filter.
Yeah, you got to get the Lindley filter. Were you having tech problems like the kind where you're like you throw your hands up in the air and go fuck this?
Well, it was all self-induced. I'm telling you. Yeah, exactly. I'm at the age group, right, where tech is a little intimidating at times. If it doesn't work the first time, it's broke.
Yeah.
But the last time I was on this pod, I was having a hell of a feedback, and I could hear myself over and over and over again. But I actually had your pod running on YouTube in the background while I was on your pod, so that was just a total brain fart on my end.
That's
but I'm learning.
That's it. It happens, dude. I love it. If you haven't listened to Brad's podcast, it's a great one. It's for first responders, by first responders. They talk about mental health. They talk about wellness. They talk about COVID. They talk about support for first responders, and you've done a fucking great job. Brad, for anybody that doesn't know, came to us just via Twitter, and we started a podcast with him called Offload Delay. Go and download it if you're a first responder. It's fucking great. But I want to talk to you about a couple of things because it's always great to have you. Great to see you. Needed more bald guys on the program today, which is awesome. It's 3-1.
I just shaved before the show, boys.
He's got the Canadian tuxedo on too. That dinner jacket's really nice.
It's
looking fucking handsome, bud.
Yeah, you look great.
This is a tough crowd. I got to fit in somehow, fellas.
Well,
all the filters on.
You're doing just fine.
You're killing it.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about a couple of things because as everybody knows, we're still in it's pandemic time on the podcast. By the way, we did a really good job for like 52 minutes, staying away from anything pandemic related, which was like fucking jerking off to me content wise. Like it felt so good. Yeah, it was really nice. We talked about Juicy Smoulier. We talked about other things. Bonzi not knowing how fine print works, which was okay. Yeah. But I want to talk to you about this because you're a first responder. You're the person that comes on the scene, and I'm a little ticked off because I got this email on the weekend, and this is going to springboard us into the conversation about rapid testing. Now, folks, if you've been hearing about rapid testing, here's the explanation. And let me get to this email first. This is from my son's school. Dear parents, guardians, November 18th, 2021, the government of Ontario announced the Ministry of Education will provide public schools with rapid antigen testing kits for all students in Ontario. The ministry stated schools will be required to ensure every student is sent home with a rapid antigen screening test when leaving for the winter break in December. These are tests that will determine whether or not what you're feeling is COVID or not, right? Like that's why we're so up in arms about tests. We want to get people tested. We want to see where they're at. We want to see the pathology of how they're feeling. We want to get it early. Now, why I found that interesting is Ontario is sitting on 32.5 million rapid antigen tests. We've given out 9.5 million. We've been given by the federal government 32 million. So we're sitting on about 21 million rapid antigen tests.
Correct.
Now, this email to me from my son's school struck me because I thought to myself, is Doug Ford that cheap? For two reasons. One is these are free tests and he's just sending them to central locations for people to give out. Two, is he really using our kids as antigen test delivery boys and girls? Is that what's happening? Like, is that what I'm reading there, Brad?
Sure, absolutely.
Like, is that his delivery of rapid testing? Is sending our kids home with 5 of them? Like, is that to me was like, holy fuck. Yeah. Are you serious right now? Instead of sending them to us or making them available for adults to go and pick up. My kid forgot his shoes at school the other day. You tell him he's going to bring home 5 rapid antigen tests from school? He forgot his coat. He forgot his boots. Like, we've been back to the school 54 times in the last 2 weeks. Like, is that really Doug's plan? Is like, send them to the schools, and hope they get home to the parents?
I think you're a little generous, Dean, to say that Ford has a plan. If this is a plan, he's just kind of flying by the seat of his pants like he always does. And he's kind of throwing it at the kids here because why not? I guess they're the last ones to get access to the vaccination. So he figures that's the only people that need these test kits. But absolutely, they should be given to us, the general pop, the homeowners, the kids' parents, everybody that needs one. We need them in the communities. We are relying exclusively in the first responder world on asking you questions when we walk in your door. And we're relying on you being honest with us. And we're relying on you knowing what a symptom may even feel like or what may or may not be COVID. So why are we not giving these out to the guardians, to the families to have at home to be distributed by them? Especially because Ford was given, you said, how many million?
32 million. Here's the tweet. This is a good one. You might want to pay attention to it. Details on the rapid antigen testing test kits federal government supplied for free to every province. So in case you're unaware, as much as you might hate Justin Trudeau, the federal government has given hundreds of millions of rapid antigen tests to provinces across the country to give out to us for free. Ontario received 31.3 million, used 9.4 million. Doug Ford made a deal with Shoppers, who is selling these tests at $40 a pop.
That 9 million that's already been distributed was given out to businesses and business associations and chambers of commerce to give to businesses that requested them from the chambers. I saw a tweet the other day of a lady who is a beekeeper, a self-employed honey beekeeper, who had probably 20 of them on her table, and they were sent to her without request. She asked for like one, and she got 20 sitting on a table, and she's self-employed with a bee. She's a fucking beekeeper
by herself.
And she's got 20 tests sitting there that were given to her by Doug Ford. But you and I can't get, we have to pay $40.
So in September, Ryan, I was approached, or there was a campaign on social media actually to apply to be an ambassador.
Right. I remember that.
Distribute rapid tests. And to be that ambassador, you had to be improved and basically say why you think you're eligible to bring these kits back to your community and to distribute them appropriately. And they had some rules. They had some conditions where you had to set up a common location, say a hockey rink or whatever in your community, and hand them out. So I was approved. My contribution to that would have been I had to drive 2 hours to get the kits because they weren't basically within our vicinity, but they were up for as many as I was wanting. And the week before I was due to go pick them up, we all received, all of us ambassadors, a letter saying that thank you, but the government is now only approving these for school purposes and certain workplaces. I don't even know which ones. So they essentially became
beekeepers.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So they pulled it back. It was actually rolling. They had a great program. This Ambassador Stay Safe program, they were calling it, was there. They still are there as far as I know. But I just don't know why they decided to pull back at that time other than the $40 profit margin.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, that's the thing. That's the only thing that is standing between us and getting tests. And let me just tell you this. I ordered 20 tests today. 20, $100 online. $100.
Where'd you get them?
I can't remember the name of the site. I'll send you the name of the site. It's like Rapid Antigen Canada or something like that.
Yeah, we want to get some too.
They literally have a list of 20 different kinds of rats. RATs are called rapid antigen tests. 20. And they're $5 to $7 a piece. And I got 20 of them for $100. Here's the rub. Shoppers Drug Mart is selling these rapid antigen tests that are supposed to be taken home. And as a first responder, I want your thoughts on this. The plan that Doug Ford and the progressive conservative government hatched, or the conservative government hatched, is we're going to shove all the rapid antigen testing over to our friend named Galen Weston Jr., who's the douchebag vegan son of Galen Weston, who's like the grocery magnate of grocery magnates. He's one of the richest people in Canada, one of the richest in North America, very, very wealthy person. few years ago, he owns Loblaws. A few years ago, his dad dies, and he's like, I'm buying Shoppers Drug Mart. He's also very good friends with Doug Ford. And so what Doug Ford did is he said, you know what, we're gonna force everybody into a Shoppers Drug Mart to get those test kits and to get tested. Does symptomatic or not, Brad is a first responder. Does any of that make any fucking sense to you whatsoever?
Not from a medical side. Sure does from a wealth earning business perspective side.
Why not from a medical perspective? Like, what is wrong with that whole fucking plan? As a first responder, as a guy with his master's in sciences, what is wrong? And that you can poke holes in.
Well, let's call cross contamination. Let's talk about cross contamination first and foremost. If you're walking in a door getting a kit by somebody who's in there to get a test, you're obviously thinking maybe you should be a little more cautious. Maybe you should be isolating. Maybe you should be away from other people. And now you're encountering people that are also wondering if they're getting symptomatic, if they're going in for their tests. And you're also in there with these general customers who are now, you're vectors is what you are. You're a vector for these disease transmissions. You're putting all of the bees into one hive. And you're letting things go rampant. And it makes no sense to me other than a profit margin. It makes no sense to me why you even have to go in the door to that Shoppers. If they want to use Shoppers and they want to make their profit, why do we not have it at the front door? Why do you have to go in? Why are these... I don't know. I don't know the process. What made Shoppers the gatekeeper? Do we know that other than the friendship between
money?
Yeah. But is it the friendship? Is it the friendship between? It's a strict business.
It's the donations that Loblaws and Galen Weston
Gives
Jr.
the conservative government.
Yeah. So what are the other pharmacies thinking? How is this fair business competition if we go from that perspective?
They're
How can it?
Private healthcare lobbyist from Shoppers Drug Mart works for the PC government now. Works right in Doug Ford's office. Like the tie-ins they're so on the front. They're on fucking Front Street. They're right in the window for all of us to see, and they don't care. They don't care that we see it. Nobody says a word. No media doesn't ask a question.
Why are we limited to the free kits? Was there not a budget amount that was not spent in our province?
No,
or COVID
there was
relief?
a budget for it, $9.5 billion, and the federal government shipped Ontario. They've spent none of it, but lost $4 billion somewhere. So
why are we only relying on free kits? Why do we not have unlimited kits? Why are not we sending
Ford's
them?
A dumb cunt. That's why.
Right.
Because he's a fucking piece of shit. That's why.
Yeah.
This is to Ryan's point. This is an article from 8 months ago, as you can see by the tag. They're starting to do that now, so people are like, "Whoa, is this like yesterday?" I don't know, because no one reads the article. He's like Doug Ford's director of pandemic response. So it's not just a lobbyist or a staffer. Doug Ford, the Premier of Ontario's director of pandemic response, was private healthcare lobbyist for Shoppers Drug Mart. Yeah. Shoppers Mart and other private health companies have been lobbying for COVID-19 contracts. This was the largest COVID-19 contract given to any business in the last 2 years.
And not only was it given, it was pulled away from these safe ambassador programs that were already existing. Correct. So it's not like it was new and created and it was their brainchild. This was already there, and they actually pulled it away from us public.
I didn't know this. What you're saying, what you're telling me now is that it's a stay safe program where they empowered first responders, medical professionals like yourself to grab a bunch of tests, go to a central location, tell everybody to come get their free test. And when after they approved you, they said, sorry, we're not doing this anymore. Change of plans. And this is the plan. Is that what you're saying?
It was. It was terrible. And it says it's going to be limited to schools. Don't show up and grab your kits if you're not related directly to a school or a school affiliate, somehow some board director. So it was there. Now, why are they not in the hands of the first responders? My screening kit right now is saying, have you been around anyone with COVID? Do you know, Ryan? No one knows. Bonzi?
Of course not.
You don't know if you've been around.
I was in that ER for a week. I had no fucking clue if people around me had COVID.
And we're often catching people lying too, right? They're either embarrassed or they're ashamed or they're just thinking that if they do admit the truth that they're going to be refused care, which they're not. But
should be.
All of these questions that we ask them for screening, all of it, why could we not implement a rapid COVID test at the scene. A lot of our calls were afforded the time to complete the test, that we're not rushing out the door with everybody. So why do we not have it as first responders, as homeowners, as community members? Like, I don't know why they're limiting these.
Yeah, especially if you're showing up somewhere that somebody is like presenting with COVID symptoms.
But even
and they're not in distress. You know what I mean? Like, and you can just be like, okay, at least those ones for sure.
These rapid tests have huge value for asymptomatic people. So people that have no idea. You just wake up in the morning, you do your quick swab. You've been in, I don't know, say you go to a concert or something, and you're like, I'm going to check myself tomorrow. And it will give you that much heads up. Right now, we're relying on things like fever. You know how long into the process it is before you develop a fever, if you develop one at all? It's such a latent onset symptom for us to use for screening. But we have a screening tool there that our own government is holding back from us. And it's even better if I show up and you as the homeowner have said, you know what, we got a test here. And we gave Mrs. Smith the rapid test and she screened positive.
Do you not have any rapid tests in your
I don't have any on me, no.
They don't send you out with them?
No. We have none of it. We have a questionnaire.
That's how you test, is a questionnaire.
Yeah, and you hope they're honest.
What a bunch of fucking tools. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, you're standing out there with several masks, several layers of PPE, going in and out of houses where people just lie for a fucking living just so they can get by. And you don't have a test. And instead, what you do is you tell these people who you're servicing, you know what, lend me $40. I'll go down to the Shoppers and get you one. Like, you're a fucking paramedic. You're on the front lines and you don't have any tests. And to the point, there are no tests available for you because they're being sold in Shoppers Drug Marts instead.
That's right. They've strangled. They put a stranglehold on. They're free. Yeah, exactly. So frustration, yes. Disgusted. The sheer profoundment, like just profoundly disgusted. And you have to remember, the people that we are often responding to are either in a mental crisis. The opiate crisis is rampant right now in all of our communities. So we're going to people that are obtunded to begin with, that can't answer a question on a good day. And I'm trusting that they're going to let me know when the last time they were around someone with COVID was in a homeless shelter.
Well, exactly.
Why do I not have that tool?
You're dealing with people that tell you, I have very bad stomach cramps, and it takes 45 minutes and a doctor to find out they actually shoved something in their asshole instead.
That's right.
And they just told you it was cramps. Everybody lies. Like, everybody's a liar. Like,
or I just got back from South Africa. You know,
Lachlan lies to his dad, his audience all the time. Lachlan lies to his own doctor. He's like, how many drinks do you have a week? And he's like, 3. It's like 44. You know, it's like everyone lies. Everybody lies to a medical professional.
Well, you think you're sitting there and the ambulance is there and the paramedic says to you, do you have any of these symptoms or any of these apply to you? And the first thing that in your mind is, if I say yes, they're not going to take me and get me help. So I'm going to lie. Even though that's not the case, they're still going to lie.
You're right. Yeah.
You know,
it's totally incorrect. And we're already delayed. The time frame to ask these questions can be up to 5 to 7 minutes before you actually get relevant answers that you can't even trust anyway. So we do have time to administer a rapid test. It would be quite feasible. It would be quite valuable to not only us, but now we go to the emerge department and we're transporting these people. We can say, look, we got a positive rapid test, or we don't. And it will really help the poor nursing staff that we meet at the doors that then have their own series of questions that they're lied
accurately because you got the fucking right information.
That's right.
And you can bypass that whole thing.
That's right. Yeah.
It just makes all the sense in the world to me that they give them to you. And not just that, fucking send them to people across the country. Like, you can literally send us census forms. You can send your conservative funding forms. You can say it like to people who are like, what, I owe you like $500. This is the weirdest thing in the world. But you can't send us fucking rapid antigen tests, which are fucking readily available because you'd rather sell them and enrich your friends. Like, that's what's happening here. You do know that, right? And it's been the same with everything. It's not just the tests that Doug Ford and the conservative conservative government give to their backers and donors and friends. It's also front of line access to a bunch of other stuff. It's also, who wants to do our app for this, and he enriches his friends with the app for this. Like, it is fucking unbelievable how crooked this fuck is, and what he's doing to people like you, that he's asking to save his constituents without giving you any fucking rapid testing, without giving us rapid testing.
How about
and using our children as the rapid test delivery service to look
Amazon.
like he cares.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Wild.
But the same premier is not enhancing our services. He's not giving us more vehicles, more crews, more to go through a pandemic. As you can imagine, it's a little taxing on the system to run a pandemic in a frontline world. So at least give us more tools. We need more tools other than the tools that we've elected to run for us. We need actual hands on tools that we can use to help treat people and protect ourselves and protect each other.
The real piss off I saw was, did you notice the slow burn to do like the goodwill campaign on behalf of Shoppers Drug Mart when they were giving out the menstrual products? They said, "Oh, we're going to give free menstrual products to every school in the province, and we're going to make sure." Like, it was a big, a hug fest for the Ford government to announce that Shoppers Drug Mart was doing this. Not just Shoppers on their own; the government had to announce it, and then all of a sudden, it was a foyer, it right into what we're looking at now. It was almost like it was to soften the blow, because they knew that this backlash was coming, and they don't care. But they just don't care. That's the worst part about it, is they don't care about the backlash. They don't care that 80% of the population knows what's going on, and they can see it. Like I say, it's in the fucking window. They're doing this, and
I regret now ever complaining that Ford was missing when we needed a leader most during the onset of this pandemic. I actually complained. I said, "Where's our leader?" Then he shows up and does this shit, this business pocket filling partnership, friends and behind the scenes. And I'd rather he just stayed away now, and just let us at least fumble our way through this best we can. At least maybe those kits would have made it to. I would at least like to see them in the homes. It would be tremendously helpful if we show up to a home.
Oh, they'll get there. They'll get there.
It's hit and miss for teachers, even.
Well,
some teachers
or
got them, some didn't.
Well, I mean,
not even the homes. Or let's get them in the ambulances and these fire trucks, the first responders, when they're showing up first and they have a questionnaire. It's just disgusting.
And let me tell you, Bonzi, that questionnaire has changed every week. So we don't even know if we're asking the right. Like, the shits used to be a symptom of COVID, and now it's not. Now it is. Now it's not. No, we really don't know.
How AMBOs don't have those on board already is just beyond me.
I would hope so. We would like staff first and foremost to at least use the kits, but let's worry about those that are there at least having the kits in hand. And our crews are breaking. Our system's failing. The frontliners are burnt out. You see it in the nursing world all the time. My colleagues, I'm seeing very good, very talented, senior, experienced medics out there that are crumbling, and they're crumbling because of the system. We talk a lot about mental health in this job, as far as the calls that we get to, and what we see and what we do and what we experience. And now most of our mental health is coming from the employer or from our government, and the lack of support. It's what's crushing us all.
You mean the decline in your mental health is because of the people that you work for? It's for the government. It's for the people that tell you what's. Have you? Because we've been talking to you for a while, maybe about a year, and you've been great with us. Your content's been awesome. I notice with you more consternation just in our exchange today. How's your mindset?
It's burnt. I've started to see someone now. I had a guest on a little while ago who was an advocate for mental health, and she experienced some tragedy due to mental health in her family. And she wrote a book about it. And part of her recommendation was to seek regular before it's the onset of the symptoms, just going for like a regular checkup with a specialist. And I've started to entertain that because I'm feeling it as much as everybody else is feeling it. And I think we take care of ourselves physically. We take care of ourselves that way. A bunch of us will go to the gym, or we'll eat right, or we'll try and but we don't worry about our mind. We let the mind suffer. and I'm feeling it now. I'm having a hard time most by not being supported, by seeing my powerful, strong, talented colleagues just getting shit on day after day after day. And they're crumbling. And these are the pillars of these emergency services. I'm not just talking about the one-offs. These are like the foundations that have been there over the years. And that to me has caused me to lash out a bit. And it's caused me to respond to management on behalf of my colleagues. And right now I can't say a whole lot about it, but I'm probably up for a little bit of discipline in the near future, just for apparently a letter I wrote.
Yeah,
and
boy.
if
not making waves, you're not doing nothing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I'll tell you what triggered a bunch of this was colleagues, not new people, not inexperienced people, directly writing our management directly with an open email to everybody, admitting that they were struggling, like literally like spilling everything to their colleagues and to management to say, we need help. We are so short staffed. We are so burnt out with the pandemic. We are so struggling. And we are so tired of hearing, well, we're looking into it. Well, we're going to figure this out. Well, here's a website. Go look that up. It's like, you know what? We've been fucking going through this for years. Me around 20 years now. I've figured out a way to cope. I no longer need just to cope. I need support. So I stepped up and I penned an open letter to management, because they're always telling us, you know what? We have an open door policy. You can say well, that's not true. It was written very methodically and very matter-of-factly and to everyone. And apparently now there's going to be some muting going on. So I'm about to be muted, and it's going to be a good fight, because I'm not.
What do you mean muted? What do you mean?
Well, they're going to suspend me. That's the word I got. They're going to send me away.
Job?
Yeah, as a medic for speaking up on behalf of my coworkers.
Because of the letter, or because
of the letter?
Like,
because of the letter.
Stuff?
No,
because you wrote a letter that they asked.
Because I wrote a letter where they say they have an open door policy, but apparently it may have been a tone issue. I can't get into the details because it's kind of before the courts as we speak. But it's my word against theirs as to basically what the tone is appropriate. It's tone. There is no insubordination. There is no inappropriate language. It was just matter of fact. You need to do this.
Venting.
Well, unfortunately or fortunately for them. Yeah, exactly.
From what I get out of it is that, frustrated, you're a sounding board because you're a senior guy as a medic in your field, in your area. You then take up your PHU on the idea that they have an open door policy. Hey, listen, Brad, if your people are struggling and you're a leader in this department, let us know. So you're like, okay, here's a letter. People are struggling. Here's what the deal is. And they don't like it because it embarrassed them. So you might get suspended. Is that what I'm understanding?
Yeah. They don't like the fact that it was worded firmly, is what I'm hearing. Here's the joke of it, though, and this is our world.
What is this world that we're
right
in
now? Fortunately or unfortunately for them, I have union experience, but I also have management experience. So I've seen both sides, and I know how to kind of craft the wording, and I know what insubordination is, and I know how to be formally assertive, but not insubordinate. And this happened I'm only a part-time medic anymore. So I have the privy of being able to kind of speak out where some of my colleagues are afraid because they don't want to lose their job. And they're afraid of getting suspended because some of them are paycheck to paycheck and that. But I have the privilege of having a position where my experience is there, and I have the ability to speak out in an educated manner. Now, since this happened, they've allowed me to work 3 shifts because they've been short, but they've asked me to keep meeting next shift. If we're not short staffed, can you come and meet us? Can you come and meet us for this pending suspension? But honestly, so fucking stupid. I don't know how they can let you work for a letter that they're offended by. What it is their feelings are hurt and they want to get rid of me for a day, 2 days. We don't know what the number is going to be. So I'm willing.
You made your employer look bad. You made your employer look bad by saying we're not getting the support we need, even though
I even suggested things. I suggested.
But your employer, it's not even their response. Like, it's their job just to take the letter and show it to their superiors, right? Like that's all they had to do.
Right.
So instead of doing that, because in my mind, what I'm hearing and what I'm seeing from your conversation is that you wrote them a letter about the State of the Union. They didn't like it because that State of the Union, in their selfish, egomaniacal minds, was some kind of like statement about the lack of job that they're doing. And so to protect themselves, they're willing to fucking take a 25-year medic off the road for a day to show him who's fucking cool and who isn't.
Bingo. Yeah. And that's it. So I'm willing to take the bullet for these colleagues of mine. I'm willing to do it, but in this unionized environment, you know how it is. I have to take the punishment as it comes, and then I fight later. Mm-hmm. So we'll make a good fight out of it. It's going to be interesting to see how far they want to take this. How they've screwed up the process itself so badly by letting me go back. Like, how can you let me work and then suspend me a month later?
Yeah.
Like, if it's so bad, how do you even have me on the... And that's just...
You said some harsh words, like, fuck
off. And there were not... There was no... Words. I'm just going to say now, there was no swearing. There was no inappropriate threat.
Harsh tone.
Brad,
how can they tell the tone
Don't you kind of wish, though, that there was some harsh language in it now if you're going to get suspended? Don't you go,
that's my argument.
Throwing the whole fucking thing against
That's right. Yeah. And here's the other kicker. Zero discipline in 20 years with this company. Not even a letter. So their first line of action is right to the suspension. Wow. So that's where I'm at right now. Dean, you noticed the demeanor may be a little bit off. It is, but it's a fight, and it's during this like when we need their support most. Mm-hmm. And basically the truth hurt, and now they're pissed off and they want to come after me. So
fuck them.
Let's go.
You know what? Whatever. They give you a day off the road. Who gives a shit, right? Like,
I'm hoping it's between Christmas and New Year's. I got a shift in there. Maybe they'll give me that one. Yeah. So,
if there's one thing you guys aren't lacking, it's time off. So you know what?
We'll follow that up with you guys. I have no problem voicing the intricate details. I got to kind of lay low on for a bit, but you got the gist of it.
Yeah, no, I got the gist of it. That's
my colleagues were upset, and I just said, you know what, enough. And I stood by it. It wasn't immediate. They had a week to reply to the initial colleagues' complaints. There was 4 other people that lashed out first to say they were hurting, they needed help, their family's struggling, they're suffering, the pandemic's getting to them, they need more help. And finally, after a week of not hearing from management, I was like, you know what? This is going to be, put your seatbelt on. I'm going to tell you some reality here. And I just let it go. Yeah. And that's whatever.
It's because you're a leader, right? Like that's why you did it, is because you're interested in the greater good. You're interested in people. You're interested.
These are good people. These are good individuals that are out there, and they're just
all
getting crushed.
First responders are. And you know, we celebrated them when we first started the pandemic. Remember sitting on the balconies and we're banging our pots and pans and we're doing the yay, let's go. You know, and it's like we've kind of forgotten. You know, we've forgotten that they're still out.
What happened to pandemic pay? What about that?
Did you not get a big bump in pay from Doug Ford?
Well, we had a little surge we had to fight for it, paramedics, because we weren't included initially, but they took it away. It's over. I don't know how the pandemic pay just goes away. These poor PSWs.
We had 1,423 cases today in Ontario. 1,423 cases.
And our region is leading much of the province. It's bad. And then we just got word today that there's cases now within the service with the workers.
Is it really?
So it's spread. Yeah.
Oh, it's because you didn't have any tests. You know why? It's because Galen Weston Jr. has them all, and he wants $40 for them. Yeah, that's
and
why.
we're going to houses now, and we're going into rooms in the place. There's one residence in our area that really pisses me off. There's 6 individuals in there, and they were all not vaccinated, the whole family, and they are as you would probably picture them, Dean. You've described them quite well. Yeah,
dirty, disgusting. Yeah. The dirties. Yeah. That's what I call them. I call them the dirties now. I don't even have a name for them. Domestic terrorists. Those are the ones that run around acting like douchebags. The people that just don't get vaccinated and don't give 2 fucks and just live in their own filth. They're just called the dirties.
They're willing to call us every day because they don't feel well. They need an ambulance. They need the health care that's working conveniently for them. Yeah. And putting me in that house over and over, and my colleagues, we got to keep showing up. We know they're COVID positive. I mean, we don't need the kits for these people. They go to the hospital and they're sick. They don't get it. That's the way it is. That's what they signed up for. And that end of it is really getting tiring, because now it's crept into our workplace. Mm-hmm. If we expose ourselves enough, we're going to end up having to have it at the workplace. And so now every day you check your email, wondering if you're on the list, if you've been exposed. So, yeah,
Omicron variant is making it even worse now. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I don't like coming on the pod and being the Debbie Downer.
Well, you were
every fucking time.
I know. So we need to talk about
bum things. What's going
on? Hold it, fellas. Talking about bum things. I did tell our friend Brad Hopper that he's not leaving this program without at least one bum story.
Yeah. Listen to this. This is my favorite part about Brad. In the network, we do a lot of show hopping. Like we'll hop on each other's shows. And one thing that everybody always asks Brad, and I got to give him credit, he holds it close to his heart. He says, "I'm not giving up the bum stories. Those are for Dean's show.
Those are our stories. Does everybody ask you about bum stories too?" And they say,
they want to know
every show. Every show he does.
Yeah, I don't want to know about anything graphic. I don't want to know about anything dark. I don't want to know any of that stuff. You know what I want to know? What did you find in someone's bum? Christmas edition. Christmas edition. Well, you got to put on a little Christmas music.
Because it's the holidays, I got a double whammy, boys.
Thanks, buddy.
I got a double whammy.
Stocking stuffer and a gift.
I got a
stocking stuffer.
Yeah.
All right, I'm ready.
Most recent one, we have some local community jails in our community, nearby, and we respond to the jails quite a bit for whatever reason. But this individual,
that's why.
Yeah,
even bad people do it.
Oh yeah, and they do it to try and get a free ride to the hospital, right? So sometimes they think it's the ticket out of the cell for the day is to shove something up their ass, other than their buddy. And the latest trend, if you can imagine, is stealing the fire head sprinklers out of the cells and then shoving those metal star shaped.
Yeah, they look like ninja stars.
Dean, I just sent you one. The last guy I picked up had 3 of these. I DM'd them to Dean.
Shut up.
3 of them. 3 of them in line, and he didn't bleed.
He did not bleed, right?
Yeah, so they're the you know when you're in a hotel room and they got those wire archaic things you often want to hang your clothes on when you're sitting in,
or yourself from, depending on the hotel.
Exactly. Yeah. So the latest one was 3 metal sprinkler heads with there they are.
Oh.
Yep. Thank you, Dean. 3 of those. Right up the old now.
Oh, it's like a roto rooter.
Yeah. Okay, but hold it. You see the red in there? That's like, is that not mercury? Is that not poisonous?
It was mercury once upon a time. There's definitely an agent in there of a chemical kind that will melt and activate the sprinkler with a heat points reach. But yeah, there could be mercury in there. There could be chemical. There could be whatever. But I'm more worried about the disc of spikes at the very end of that, and how you get 3 in. So,
well, you force them.
To make it even better is once they remove these.
Bleeding, right?
No, but once they remove these, it triggers a pressure drop, and quite often we show up and their sprinklers going off because they've removed the mechanism, which is this, to stop the water flowing into the cell. So now the poor guards got to go in, and we got these. But this is actually quite common. This is quite common. It's a common prison method to get a school road trip for the day, to try and get out to the emerge department. And
they really have nothing else they can put in their bum? Like,
quite often in those cells, there's not a lot, right? They often don't even have laces with them or anything in their shoes.
I'm always amazed at the ingenuity of guys in jail. Like,
but you have a lot of time on your hands.
They can make wine in the toilet.
Toilet hooch, yeah.
Toilet wine.
But I'm worried about what I eat sometimes, because I'm like, yeah, that could be uncomfortable. I don't know if you want to eat. And these guys are hooping metal sprinklers like it's nothing.
Unbelievable.
Now
that is awesome.
I can't.
Like, I would never think to do that. Like, if I was a criminal, I would never think to look around. What can I shove
Toothpaste in prison too. It's another one. They like the tubes of toothpaste.
What do you like, the whole tube, or they
just just the whole tube.
They'll just squeeze the
no. That's too easy.
Okay.
Yeah, they're trying to make themselves the dispenser, Dean. Yeah, not the So,
oh god.
Yeah. The other one is a little more graphic, but it's a reversal. It's actually the one time I showed up. The one time.
Yeah, one time.
and I had I don't know if I'd call her a dainty or a delicate lady, asked me to put her ass back in to her.
Prolapse.
Yes, but the prolapse was from too many fun and games that happened prior to our arrival.
She wore it the fuck out.
Yeah, and the story of that one is, I showed up and it was an apartment with a long hallway. And I opened the door, and she was literally on the toilet with her innards hanging out, having a cigarette with whoever she was playing with in the room next door. Don't know what the toys were involved, don't know anything. But
it was probably a fist.
The quote was, "Can you just put this shit?" Enough. Yeah, she literally said, "Can you just put this shit back into me so we can get back at it?"
Holy Christ.
And there's one thing we don't do in the emergency, in the pre-medical world, is we do not.
You don't put assholes back in, right?
We do not generally replace any body part that we find that's fallen out, whether it's an eye or a limb that's half off or a thumb that's thrown down the hall. We don't try and get it all back. So, and believe it or not, it's a true medical emergency at some point.
Yeah,
but
no shit.
The calmness that she had with the cigarette.
That's not the first time.
Sitting there with the cigarette.
Yeah, obviously not.
Well, no, and ultimately we had to take her to the hospital, but she was angry that we would not try. I don't have. What tools do we have, Dean? We have a lot of equipment in those ambulances, and we are pretty MacGyverish with a lot of stuff. But
you see, this is why I would never be I'd be a terrible paramedic. I really would, because even if I was like a legitimate paramedic and someone said, "Hey, help put my asshole back in so I can get back at getting rogered by that guy in the next room," I would go like this. All right, let's give her a go. Let's see what happens. Let's see if I can't get that sleeve back in there. It's like an inside-out slinky, right? Like,
do you remember?
Jam that baby back in there.
Do you remember those? I'm going to date myself, but those water toys, they were a tube. They look like a toilet roll, and they were flat, and they were water slinky.
You could stick your whole hand in,
Dean.
take it out.
Just a foot long one of those water slinkies.
That's what it looks like. Did you see it? Like when she sat up from the toilet, did you see the sleeve underneath it?
Yeah.
How long was it? How long?
There was a good foot coming out, boys. That's it. And then how do you position that individual? I can't take the toilet to the hospital. So now I got to get her onto a bed.
How'd you do it?
Oh, the old sideways, knees up, ass out.
Did you touch it?
I had to
off the side.
Do you want details? I had to wrap it, Bonzi. I had to wrap it with a moist towel, so it could potentially be put back in properly when we got there.
Hero.
That's not it. There's your hero status for the day. But don't give me free COVID rapid test though. But make sure I can go there and put people's ass on the stretcher and deal with that way. So, yeah, that was and it's all about your partner in that case, right? Because I turned around from the bathroom and my partner was gone. He was down the hall outside. Nope, that's not my job. And off he went. This was my call. I was attending, and I was pretty much on my own until we figured out what was going on. But I got the cigarette out.
If I'm your partner, no offense, I'd have done the exact same thing.
Oh yeah.
Did she finish the smoke, or
we had her put it out? But where did she put it? Where do you think?
She put it out on her in the
toilet. Just flicked it in the toilet bowl right in front of her. There you go. Straight down. There you go. Yep. Class. Nothing but class.
Yeah. It's a prolapsed anus with a cigarette burn on it.
Yeah. How are we explaining that one?
That's an all new level of trailer. Like I was never I'm a big fan of making fun of people who are total degenerate trailer pigs. Like there's this chicken Barry who went totally racist. I don't want to get to the video because it'll harsh my buzz right now. But like I was like, this is my favorite. It's like finding a new level of degeneracy, and you can only get it from first responders. Like you really can't, because
they're the only ones that see it
story. She's not showing up to a Tupperware party or bowling night with the girls going, "You'll never guess what happened to me yesterday."
It was so matter of fact. This
show was over last weekend, and he fucked my asshole out.
I can't believe she wanted you to put it back in so she could keep raging.
Well, it's like, how do I document that? How would I even document that? I don't have a procedure code on my form for putting the old water slinky back in. I just don't have it.
She sounds like a goer.
Did you get her number?
Oh no, boys, no.
You get her
no.
digits?
No. There's plenty of people that we just say thank you, but we need your health card, and that's it.
Can I ask you a question that's going to be off-putting for everybody here on the panel?
Uh-oh.
Did it smell?
Oh yeah. Or just when you rub
had
it.
to, right?
It's hard to describe, guys, that the smells are hard to make to distinguish from the other smells in their house.
From the environment.
There is a constant smell, no matter what city, when certain individuals call, it's the same smell. It's universal.
Yeah, it's the trailer pig smell, right? It's like the unwashed,
the anti-vaxxer cologne.
Yeah, we call it
anti-vaxxer cologne.
We call it the Barton bus in Hamilton. Called the aroma of the Barton bus.
And it's like a McDonald's hamburger. It's the same everywhere. You don't know the secret.
Do that. Don't you fucking don't you dare do that to the McDonald's.
Just the consistency,
like
not
sandwich.
Sorry, I was only talking about the consistency of the smell. How bang on it is, no matter what town you're in.
It's like, have you guys ever been to an outhouse in a national park? I've had the displeasure of being there.
They all smell the same.
It's that intense, pungent, go fuck yourself smell that appears when you're like, whoa, what is that? It's like like 20 years of people's dinner in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's what that is. Like, it's the same smell, right? Because it's like, if you've ever been around a prolapsed anus, you know it smells weird.
Oh, but I'm talking about the generic smells here. We commonly call it the smell of giving up hope.
Yeah,
there's a sense of that.
All of the anti-vaxxers, do they all have the same hum to them? Like the same disgusting smell?
And if you ask any of my family, anytime I'm out, I can pick it out in a crowd. I could be in a mall. I'll be like, there's one around here somewhere. I can smell it.
It's on there.
It's a token. And I hope there's first responders listening today, because they'll be like, I know, and they'll be smelling it now. It's like that. You can't get it out of your nose once it's in there.
I'm amazed I'm shocked to find out people that don't believe in science don't wash. Shocked.
Oh yeah.
Shocked.
The human body creates some fantastic aromas.
Petri dish.
That's
right. Oh, that's why we call them the dirties, dude. Like I know that there are generally people who shouldn't get vaccinated, medically can't get vaccinated. People have done their due diligence. I don't have a problem with those people.
I'm vaccinated for those people.
Yes,
That's why I'm vaccinated.
Yes.
I'm vaccinated not for any of those people. I'm vaccinated for myself, because if someone said, Dean, get vaccinated for those guys, even though I'm a massive fan of science, I'd be like, I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I might want to feel so.
But the ones that can't, the ones that truly can't get vaccinated,
I'm not talking about them.
I'll step up though, and I will take my part.
Sure.
We even got Bonzi on board. When was that? October, Bonzi?
Yeah.
Oh, before that.
And I heard you.
August, September.
I even heard you ranting last night or the last pod about, man, these guys got to get vaccinated. And I was cheering in the background going, man, it was only months ago where we were trying to tell Bonzi to get this thing. It's going to suck.
Yeah. You could be in the category of stinky bastard, and you're not.
You could have been sitting with your asshole hanging out.
Yeah.
Being judged.
Oh, man.
Now watch. All of your haters are going to try and say the vaccination doesn't prolapse your rectum, you idiots. They're going to mix it all up. It's going to be fantastic.
I bet you the prolapsing of anus happens a lot more in the anti-vax community than it does in the vaccinated one, guaranteed. Bonzi, what were you going to say? Sorry, we cut you off. We all cut you off there.
I don't remember now. It's all good.
All right.
Doesn't matter.
Well,
say something.
Yeah.
Oski Wee Wee this weekend. I don't know if we're wrapping up the show, but I see Ryan made sure he put that hat in the background. I know it's not Dean's favorite thing in the world, but our beloved Tiger Cats, Ryan and I's, we're going to the Grey Cup, and it's in Hamilton, and we're going to win it against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Way to put the show into the side of the fucking mountain. Now, Dean.
Dude, anytime we talk about the CFL, we lose half of our listeners in 5 minutes.
Sorry.
Did you not hear this the other day? We have a.
Yeah. I just wanted to give you a quick shout out for the hat and representing our squad.
There's too many people watching.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah, it's a detriment.
I don't blame them.
Like,
we were due to change topics.
I was talking to a guy about no. I wanted to stay on the anus sleeve topic.
So did I. This ass sleeve, I could have gone all night here.
Yeah.
You're upsetting people's dinners, though.
We're not going to talk about the CFL, but you're right. Congratulations to Hamilton. You never have nice things, and hopefully this weekend's a lot of fun.
Did you buy that ticket, Ryan? You were talking about the Dean ended up buying for you?
No, fuck no.
At 500, was that it?
No,
500 was cheapest.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna have a high and then a low. Saturday night's gonna be great, and then Sunday I have to watch the Grey Cup.
Yeah. So what I'm doing? Oh, see, look, Ray, our NFL blogger. He's like, "Way to go! You ruined a fucking great show."
There's Ray.
Way to go, Bond.
Do it. No, on Saturday, open invite to you two, Hops. Saturday, my friend Danko Jones has invited us down to the Phoenix to see a live show, fully vaccinated live program.
I will be there.
So Ryan and I are going, and I'm just inviting you right now. I would invite Bonzi if he was here. And
I've been a fan of them for a while before even getting involved with you guys.
Danko's one of the greatest guys on the planet. They're playing
the best shows you'll see live too.
Yeah, they rock. They're incredible. So if you want to come, you can stay with me on Saturday. We can go down, and I'll drive because I'm a DD, and you guys can get all pissy.
I heard you can get blood clots if you stay at Dean's house. I'll just go right to the Phoenix.
Yeah, just go reach at the Phoenix. But we'll talk about it. So I'll see everybody here at Danko on Saturday. We'll see Bonzi. He's coming home. He's going to be on the program next week live from Edmonton, Alberta at Lachlan's house, masturbating on all the fine linens that she has.
Everywhere.
Which will be a lot of fun.
Everywhere.
Ryan Lilly, the host of the Sheeple Shepherd podcast.
Are you coming this way, Bonzi, or what? You staying out west?
Yeah. No, I'll be coming back to Ontario, and we'll definitely be hooking up.
A few weeks.
Yep.
All right.
We'll get you back. That is Brad Hopper.
Get a rapid
from Offload
test
Delay.
first.
Brad, I'm wrapping up, Brad.
Yeah, I was just going to say, would you shut the fuck up,
I'm
Brad?
out.
You talked way too much.
Yeah. No, stay here because I'm teasing your podcast, Offload Delay. The name of the podcast, First Responders, talking about things that first responders care about because no one's paying attention to our beautiful first responders other than Brad and us because we love you. We love you. So that is Brad Hopper. Get his new podcast called Offload Delay, wherever you get your fine podcasts, including DeanBlundell.com. Follow him at Brad Hopper14. Nailed your fucking Twitter handle today, by the way.
I'm shocked. My last podcast was amazing.
His last podcast was the best one he's done yet, just so you know. The best podcast I've actually heard.
Yeah.
Ashley was great. She was really good.
Somebody in the comments said more Ashley too. Fuck you guys.
Yeah. Less Ryan, more
Right?
Ashley.
Yeah, she is.
I'm going to try and go live, so I'm going to be picking your brains, guys, to go live.
Right.
I think I want to try doing that side. So.
See how easy it is to go live? See the energy that it is for live? When you're recording, there's no energy. You're like, oh, we can fucking sound how we want. This is energy. This is fucking energy. We talked about juicy smoulier today. We talked about rapid tests.
Foot-long assholes.
We talked about foot-long assholes.
Wow.
Yeah.
We did a lot. We shit all over WestJet. I'll never fly WestJet again. We're all Air Canada all the time now. Fuck WestJet is
Cheers
right.
to Air Canada.
100%.
Cheers to them.
Yep. I learned a lot today.
I never thought I'd say those words. Hey, good job, Air Canada. But you know what? Good job, Air Canada. Fuck, here we are.
Listen, boys, Ryan, I'll see you tomorrow. Guys, thank you very much. Brad Hopper, Greg Bonzi, and of course, Ryan Lindley from Sheeple Shepherd.
Dean.
Guys,
Love you guys.
all.
Have a great weekend.
Love you too, brother.
Love you all.
Be safe.
Talk to you soon. Be safe. Travel safe. Be nice to each other. As long as people are being nice to you, be nice back. No one's nice to you, just walk away. That's what I do. Oh, you're not nice. I just won't talk to you. I'm not going to yell at you. I'm just going to let you stew in the misery of you being you. I don't care. Dean, you're a fucking prick. Yeah, you still got to go to bed with your dirty, toxic mind tonight, so have fun. I don't care. Don't care. That's the way you got to be. Thanks, everybody. Merry Christmas as we wind down to the Christmas break, of which I'll have none. But that's okay because I love it here. And I work at home, so it's not that big of a deal. Thanks to our friends and sponsors, Easy Auto Financial. If you're looking for a vehicle, easyautofinancial.ca. They take all the guesswork out of buying a car, including getting your financing, which you don't have to pay for. There's no obligation for any of it either. easyautofinancial.ca. Need a car? Bad financing? Good credit? Doesn't matter. They don't care. They take care of everything, and they're pros at it. Pros. easyautofinancial.ca. Merry Christmas. I love the Christmas tunes. Got the tree on and everything. It's right behind you. You can't see it. Anyway, ho, ho, ho. To our friends at Ed's Fine Imports, edsfineimports.com. Christmas shopping never been easier. 80% off suits and blazers for that fella in your life or for yourself, and you can give it to yourself if no one buys you nice gifts. Like, that's how my house works. I just buy my own stuff, and they're like, I forgot. Anyway, Ed's Fine Imports has you covered. Not only does he have 80% off suits and blazers store-wide, edsfineimports.com also sells Gitch, luxury branded underwear, GITCH, boxer briefs for the man. Pouch in the front, you can't miss. And he wants to give you a free pair for Christmas. Use promo code GITCH3 when you order from edsfineimports.com. Get you the number 3. He'll send you another one for free. Black, purple, orange. He's got every color. Red. check it out, edsfineimports.com. And domination.com, making it easy to do content. All your stuff is so easy to put out on different platforms when you use Domination because it takes zero time. Like, it takes forever to do a promo. It takes no time because you feed the file into this AI software that they provide you with. That thing kicks out a whole bunch of promos, like 72 pieces in minutes. So use them today, dmntn.com. Again, dmntn.com. Domination, dominate your content with dmntn.com. Try that for free today. Have a great day, everybody. Yay, pods all Christmas, Melissa said. Yes. Maybe. Probably not. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you soon.